Hey guys, what's up? I'm Lonnie Appleton. I am a healthy family advocate. I advocate for the healthy restoration of our families. Right now, I am here on live reading the Bible. I read the Bible. This is the NIV translation. I read the Bible from the understanding what's behind this cover and everything in between. We ask questions, dialogue, and we just really learn how to apply this to our present lives. There's been a lot going on in my personal life, if you're familiar with the content. But energetically, huge shifts going on. Some not so desirable, but others just totally amazing. So I do attribute a lot of the advancements my family is making. Whether it feels good or not, these are advancements. Life is happening for you, not to you. That is something that I often have to remind myself in case by case, when I don't do something in the time that I feel I should do it, I just remind myself I'm on path, I'm doing what I'm supposed to, and life is happening for me and not to me. So it isn't that I missed a deadline, it isn't that I'm procrastinating, it's none of those things. It's that things are happening in their divine timing, and I'm okay with that. With that said, we are reading Deuteronomy chapter 29, renewal of the covenant Hey, Michael and Caden, I came outside so I can read. If you're gonna do all that yelling and talking, you need to go in the house until I'm done, okay? So you can be out here, but you need to be quiet. Thank you. All right. These are the terms of the covenant the Lord commanded Moses to make with the Israelites in Moab, in addition to the covenant he had made with them at Horeb. Moses summoned all the Israelites and said to them, "Your eyes have seen all that the Lord did in Egypt to Pharaoh, to all his officials, and to all his land. With your own eyes you saw those great trials, those signs, and great wonders." I'm sorry, y'all. My allergies are kicking my butt today. But to this day, the Lord has not given you a mind that understands, or eyes that see, or ears that hear. Yet the Lord says, during the 40 years that I led you through the wilderness, your clothes did not wear out, nor did the sandals on your feet. You ate no bread and drank no wine and other fermented drink. I did this so that you might know that I am the Lord your God. Amen. No matter what you're going through, and you're looking around, you're like, why hasn't XYZ happened? Like, I know under normal circumstances, I haven't paid, but it hasn't gotten turned off. I haven't shown, but I haven't been excluded. You have to understand that you're being protected, you're being covered, and stop thinking that it's just, oh, this person is so sweet. No, God is carrying you. God is protecting you, and that is what his provision is, right? This is provision. So let's stop overlooking how God is providing for us. Leave the neighbor alone. Let's stop overlooking how God is providing for us and really focus on, we're being covered for something, right? God's not just going to continue to cover us if we're not getting it. When you reach this place, Sihon, king of Heshbon, and Og, king of Bashan, came out to fight against us, but we defeated them. We took their land and gave it as an inheritance to the Reubenites and Gadites and half-tribe of Manasseh. Carefully follow the terms of this covenant so that you may prosper in everything you do. All of you are standing today in the presence of the Lord your God. Your leaders and chief men, our elders and officials, and all the other men of Israel, together with your children and your wives and the foreigners living in your camp, who chop your wood and carry your water. Caden, if you want to go inside, keep talking to the neighbor. If you want to stay outside, stop talking to the neighbor. Do you understand? Those are your options. So please leave the neighbor alone. You are standing here in order to enter into a covenant with the Lord your God, a covenant the Lord is making with you this day and sealing with an oath, to confirm you this day as his people, that he may or might be your God, as he promised you as he swore to the father Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I am making this covenant with its oath, not only with you who are standing here with us today in the presence of the Lord our God, but also with those who are not here today. So God made this promise. Sorry, my allergies. I already took some Benadryl, but it said not today. God said he's making this promise not only with the people that are present, but the people who are not present. So when God made this promise not only to our ancestors, but also to us. We weren't physically present. Energetically, we were. So all that God promised the Israelites, God also promised us if we live according to God's desired plan. I'm busy. Can you respect that I'm working? You yourselves know how we lived in Egypt and how we passed through the countries on the way here. You saw among them their detestable images and idols of wood and stone, of silver and gold. Make sure there is no man or woman, clan or tribe among you today whose hearts turn away from the Lord our God to go and worship to gods of those nations. Make sure there is no root among you that produces such bitter poison. When such a person hears the words of this oath and they invoke a blessing on themselves, thinking, I will be safe, even though I persist in going my own way, they will bring disaster in the watered lands as well as the dry. The Lord will never be willing to forgive them. His wrath and zeal will burn against them. All the curses written in this book will fall upon them, and the Lord will blot out their name from under heaven. The Lord will single them out from all the tribes of Israel for disaster according to all the curses of the covenant written in this book of the law. Your children who follow you in later generations and foreigners who come from distant lands will see the calamities that have fallen on the land and the diseases with which the Lord has afflicted it. The whole land will be a burning waste of salt and sulfur. Nothing planted, nothing sprouting, no vegetation growing on it. It will be like the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah and Zeboiah, which the Lord overthrew in fierce anger. All the nations will ask, why has the Lord done this to this land? Why this firstborn burning anger? All I read in that was, if you're experiencing what appears to be a calamity in your house, you have to discern, is this a Sodom and a Gomorrah destruction, or if this is a Noah's Ark destruction, which means in 2 cases so far, God, that I'm aware of, God has destroyed, something, a land that people live in. So in Sodom and Gomorrah, that was a destruction from anger. There was something that was happening there that was not supposed to be happening. It was complete, utter annihilation because it was displeasing to God. Now, with Noah, that also was a destruction, but there were people, Noah and his family, and the 2x2 animals, they were preserved and saved. They were made aware, like, what's going on? Y'all need to get in this boat. I'm going to destroy everything and renew and rebuild, and I am preserving you and keeping you while I do the work. So is God preserving you and keeping you while the destruction is happening, or are you affected by the destruction? And that's how you determine if you're doing the work and you're on path and you're moving in your divinity within this lifetime, or, you messing up, Sari. And the answer will be, we need to stop being so literal. We need to stop being so literal with what this book says, because this book, like you said, I'm making this promise to you. I'm making this promise to those who are here, and I'm making this promise to those who are not here. Which means when this book was written, or these laws were passed down, whatever, the world was real different then. So the terms and the things that this book is talking about, they exist present day. I can't hold up my phone because I'm using it. But if this was a phone, this is a false idol. This is a false god. How many of us spend more time on this than we spend with God? And it's already said in this book, I don't recall the verses, it's like, I need to be on your mind 24 hours a day. You need to be focused on me 24 hours a day. So if you're spending any time besides with me, you are committing a sin. So you have to pay attention to how much of your life you spend focus on a TV, focus on a screen, focus on a job, focus on other people, focus on other things, and not moving in your divinity and developing yourself. These are the false gods and false idols. I don't think God's worried about the pathway you choose to get to God. I think God is worried about what you're doing instead of getting to God. And the answer will be, it is because the people abandoned the covenant of the Lord, the God of their ancestors. The covenant, because the God of your ancestors, this isn't the God of your ancestors. The God of your ancestors predated this version of God. So when you think about the God of your ancestors, however you get to your connectivity with God, God's not worried about that. God is worried about all the distractions, every addiction, every behavior that you put before God. That is what God is worried about. That was me working out. Because some of y'all are addicted to working out. Some of you guys are addicted to things that you think are good for you. Anything that takes over your life and is taking you from actually, I don't know how to put it into words right now, but it's in my book, What's the Best That Can Happen. Caden, go in the house. Go ahead and go in the house until I'm done, please. It's in my book, What's the Best That Can Happen, available on Amazon. Just make sure the seller is Lonnie Taylor. But pretty much, addiction isn't just alcohol, drugs, sex. It's not those things. Addiction is anything that just is imbalanced within your life, and it takes over your life. So we have to pay attention to those things. Hey, Ree. We have to pay attention to those things, that which we are addicted to. The covenant he made with them when he brought them out of Egypt, they went off and worshiped other gods and bowed down to them. Gods they did not know, gods he had not given them. Therefore the Lord's anger burned against this land, so that he brought on it all the curses written in this book. In furious anger and in great wrath, the Lord uprooted them from their land and thrust them into another land as it is now. The secret things belong to the Lord our God, but the things revealed belong to us and to our children forever, that we may follow all the words of this law. Prosperity after turning to the Lord. 30. I want to hear about prosperity after turning to the Lord. When all these blessings and curses I have set before you come on you, and you take them to heart wherever the Lord your God disperses you among the nations. And when you stop barking, don't back up from him. Just keep doing what you're doing, because you're teaching him to charge you when you back up from him. Don't do that, because he's only going to get bigger. So you need to keep doing what you're doing, because you're teaching him to charge you when you back up from him. Don't do that, because he's only going to get bigger. So you need to It's a good thing that we're being brought together. It's a good thing that you're hearing Bible study. It's a good thing that you're hearing God's word. It's a good thing. You're making the right moves. Even if just in this moment you made the right move. Every moment you have to choose to make the right move. And God will continue to restore upon you that which was promised to you as long as you move within God's guidelines. And God's guidelines can't be this in 2024. And when I say it can't be this, it can't be literally what we read in these pages. We are not taking sheep and oxen, and some of the animals that they mention in this thing don't even exist anymore. This can't be the literal interpretation we take into our lives in 2024. But as we move in our divinity and our relationship with God, God is being very clear about the directives of what they desire for you to accomplish in this lifetime. And as you do that work, you will begin to be restored. And you will experience a Noah destruction, not a Sodom and Gomorrah destruction. You will experience a Noah destruction where God will keep you and protect you and shield you while the destruction of that which does no longer serve you is destroyed and rebuilt. Even if you have been banished to the most distant land under the heavens, from there the Lord your God will gather you and bring you back. He will bring you to the land that belonged to your ancestors, and you will take possession of it. He will make you more prosperous and numerous than your ancestors. The Lord your God will circumcise your hearts and the hearts of your descendants, so that you may love him with all your heart and with all your soul and live. The Lord your God will put all these curses on your enemies who hate and persecute you. You will again obey the Lord and follow all his commands I am giving you today. Then the Lord your God will make you most prosperous in all the work of your hands and in the fruit of your womb, the young of your livestock and the crops of your land. The Lord will again delight in you and make you prosper, just as he delighted in your ancestors. If you obey the Lord your God and keep his commands and decrees that are written in this book of law, and turn to the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your soul. The offer of life or death. Now what I am commanding you today is not too difficult for you or beyond your reach. It is not up in heaven, so that you have to ask, who will ascend into heaven to get it and proclaim it to us so we may obey it? Nor is it beyond the sea, so that you have to ask, who will cross the sea to get it and proclaim it to us so we may obey it? No, the word is very near you. It is in your mouth and it is in your heart, so you may obey it. So those of us who are asking questions like, why does God do this? Why does God do that? Why is this happening? Why is this God? Why is God punishing me? Have you actually sought out God? Do you actually know God? It's very tangible. I was at the cemetery last year, and I saw on someone's headstone, stop, Kaden. I told you to go in the house already. Why are you still out here? But you're choosing not to be obedient. I want to face the east. Just walk. Alfie, leave him alone. And on the tombstone it said that now they're in a better place. And it made me sad, because I was like, why are we waiting? Why are we living to die? Why are we waiting to be in a better place? Especially, do we really know there's a better place? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about heaven and hell. I think that exists here in this realm. But it really made me sad to think that now you're in a better place because you're physically dead and you've left this plane. See, I set before you today life and prosperity, death and destruction. For I command you today to love the Lord your God, to walk in obedience to him, and to keep his commands, decrees, and laws. Then you will live and increase, and the Lord your God will bless you in the land you are entering to possess. But if your heart turns away and you are not obedient, and if you are drawn away to bow down to other gods and worship them, I declare to you this day that you will certainly be destroyed. You will not live long in the land you are crossing the Jordan to enter and possess. This day I call the heavens and the earth as witnesses. So as you increase in wealth and prosperity, I don't receive this. What Spirit is telling me, as you increase in wealth and prosperity, your territory increases, your reach increases, the things that are available to you increase, temptation increases, all that which you desired in this lifetime increases and is now available to you, and now you settle into a space. I didn't take a day off, I skipped a day reading the Bible. And a part of me was like, you're not supposed to skip a day. And a part of me was like, this is a test. Are you going to skip a day and quit? Because usually that's what happens. Like, if I'm going to the gym, if I skip a day, I'm done with the gym. You know, my classes that I was attending at the beginning of the year, I skipped a day, I ain't been back. You know, so when I break a hyper concentration, I'm no longer focused on it. It's just a habit of mine that I'm aware of, a behavior of mine that I'm aware of. And so when it came time for me to read the Bible, my first day off in a while, you know, I was like, Are you going to stay in this bed and keep relaxing because you are tired? Please stop. No. No, not right now. It's not urgent. And we have to, I don't know. This day I call the heavens and the earth as witnesses against you that I have set before your life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life so that you and your children may live and that you may love the Lord your God. Listen to his voice and hold fast to him. For the Lord is your life, and he will give you many years in the land he swore to give your fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Joshua to succeed Moses, chapter 31. Then Moses went out and spoke these words to all Israel. I am now 120 years old, and I am no longer able to lead you. The Lord has said to me, you shall not cross the Jordan. The Lord your God himself will cross over ahead of you. He will destroy these nations before you, and you will take possession of their land. Joshua also will cross over ahead of you, as the Lord said, and the Lord will do to them what he did to Sihon and Og, the kings of the Amorites, whom he destroyed along with their land. The Lord will deliver them to you, and you must do to them all that I have commanded you. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. No matter how big your dream is, know that whatever you perceive as an obstacle is easy work for God. It's easy work for your spirit team. It's easy work for your ancestors. You have all these energetic aspects or entities. You have all these energetic entities who are riding for you. So when you're conceptualizing and visualizing your next, don't think in limitation, because that which is your limitation is nothing to God. God created it all. God can destroy it. God can remove it. God can block it. So you only got to keep your eye on the prize. I bit the inside of my lip at work. I didn't bite it. I was pulling something up and I hit my lip. And now my lip is all messed up.
Your lip is all messed up?
Then Moses summoned Joshua and said to him in the presence of all Israel, be strong and courageous, for you must go with the people into the land that the Lord swore to their ancestors to give them. And you must divide it among them as their inheritance. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. Public reading of the laws. So Moses wrote down this law and gave it to the Levitical priests who carried the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and to all the elders of Israel. Then Moses commanded them at the end of every 7 years in the year for canceling debts, during the festival of tabernacles, when all Israel comes to appear before the Lord your God at the place he has chosen, he will choose. You shall read this law before them in their hearing. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the foreigners residing in your towns, so they can listen and learn to fear the Lord your God, and follow carefully all the words of this law. Their children who do not know this law must hear it and learn to fear the Lord your God as long as you live in the land you are crossing the Jordan to possess. Israel's rebellion predicted. The Lord said to Moses, now the day of your death is near. Call Joshua and present yourself at the tent of meeting, where I will commission him. So Moses and Joshua came and presented themselves at the tent of meeting. Then the Lord appeared at the tent in a pillar of cloud, and the cloud stood over the entrance to the tent. And the Lord said to Moses, you are going to rest with your ancestors, and these people will soon prostitute themselves to the foreign gods of the land they are entering. They will forsake me and break the covenant I made with them. And in that day I will become angry with them and forsake them. I will hide my face from them, and they will be destroyed. Many disasters and calamities will come on them, and in that day they will ask, have not these disasters come on us because our Lord is not with us, our God is not with us. And I will certainly hide my face on in that day because all their wickedness in turning to their gods. So present day, all I see, where the heck my tissue go? Present day, all I see is us being so attached to this physical world. Thank you, Reed. Present day, no, leave it alone. Present day, all I see is us attached to this physical existence. Present day, all I see is our disconnection from God. How many times a day do you utter God's name that's not in a... Why are you pulling that out? No. How many times a day do you utter God's name and that's not in a cuss word? You know what I'm saying? How many times do you live in the energy of God? So this is what God is talking about, rebellion. God's not talking about you setting up an altar to your ancestors. To me, this is my interpretation, right? God's not talking about you setting up an altar to your ancestors. God's not talking about whichever pathway you choose to get to God. Understand the language that's being used here is a language that was relevant here. The same person who's standing in the pulpit telling you that these people who are spiritualists and these people who have these different methodologies and pathways to worship their personal relationship with God are the people who are not doing what they're doing. Meanwhile, you're sitting there scrolling your timeline, checking your emails while you're listening to the Word of God. Who truly is not seeking God? So we have to get out of this idea that the chosen pathway is what God is talking about. And we have to get into the idea that this world that has been created for us, this world is a distraction from God. And the more we are into the world, the further we are away from God. So when people are like, why isn't God? Where is God? Where is God? You canceled God out. You canceled God out because you are God. So if you are not getting in touch with yourself and getting to know yourself and feeding yourself to your highest potential, you ask yourself, where is God? And what they present as relationship with God in these churches is not relationship. 9 times out of the 10, the person that's teaching you about a relationship with God doesn't even have a relationship with God. They just figured out how to make a buck off of God's back. Now write down this song and teach it to the Israelites and have them sing it, so that it may be a witness for me against them. When I have brought them into the land flowing with milk and honey, the land I promised on oath to their ancestors. And when they eat their fill and thrive, they will turn to their gods and worship them, rejecting me and breaking my covenant. And when many disasters and calamities come on them, this song will testify against them, because it will not be forgotten by their descendants. I know what they are disposed to do. Even before I bring them into the land I promised them on oath. So Moses wrote down this song today and taught it to the Israelites. The Lord gave the command in Joshua, son of Nun. Be strong and courageous, for you will bring the Israelites into the land I promised them on oath, and myself will be with you. After Moses finished writing in a book the words of this law from beginning to end, he gave this command to the Levites who carried the ark of the covenant of the Lord. Take this book of the law and place it beside the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God. It will remain as a witness against you. For I know how rebellious and stiff-necked you are. If you have been rebellious against the Lord while I am still alive with you, how much more will you rebel after I die? Assemble before me all the elders of your tribes and all your officials, so that I can speak these words in their hearing. If your children don't know how to walk in accordance to your law within your home, your expectations, when you're present, what do you think your kids are going to do once they get out your house? So if you are not raising your children to live to their highest potential, how to discern for themselves and do what it is that they need to be successful in life, What do you think they're going to do when they get out of your house? You got 18 years. Hey, mind games. You got 18 years to create. You got 18 years to play the mind games, right? You got 18 years to create a human that can leave your home if they choose, because my idea of prosperity and wealth is generations being able to live and move together. So if your child becomes legally an adult and they haven't shown you in the 18 years because you didn't transfer the knowledge to them, they ain't ready. So that's what I read from that. They're gonna rebel. Why? Because you were so stiff-necked. You were so strong. My way, my way, my way. Meanwhile, they came pre-programmed with God's code, right? God told every single one of us what we came here on this earth to do. And every single one of us were born into parents that tried to create clones. And now we're out here creating clones. Who's creating clones? Who's creating clones? And every single one of us are giving birth to God divinity. Thank you for the share. Yo, cut it out. I heard the dog. That's who I told to cut it out. For I know that after my death you are sure to become utterly corrupt and to turn from the way I have commanded you. In days to come, disaster will fall on you because you will do evil in the sight of the Lord and arouse his anger by what your hands have made. It is so important for us to restore our families. It is imperative for us to restore our families. We started a system in our house of cleaning. Videos are coming. Who knows? I'm already up to 60 drafts and I got 140 videos on my phone. So I done already swallowed my phone up already with content. But if you're not following on YouTube as the apple turns, make sure you get connected over there because I'm dumping everything over there so I don't lose it. But it's delicious content. What I'm producing right now is really good stuff. But we started a system in our home where I don't talk to my kids unless I'm teaching them. Everything is a lesson. How you can do that better. How you can do that better. How you can do that better. Not from a judgmental space, from my kids being able to move at their highest efficiency. So we went through everything that needs to be handled in this house, and I wrote down every task associated with how it needs to be handled. And then I created a board that has the task and our names. And then we'll rotate the names. And whoever's name is on bathroom, they'll go get the list and they'll say, okay, these are all the boxes I need to check with cleaning the bathroom. And then when I'm done, I'll go check. That's exactly how I learned how to clean. Because my stepmom used to give me a note card. They were note cards back then. Index cards. Gave me an index card for the bathroom. I would take that index card and I would check, clean the toilet, clean to this, clean to this, clean to this, clean to this, clean to this. She wasn't checking whether it was done or not. She was checking was it done to her standard. Thank you for the love. And because she checked to see how the cleanliness was done to her standard, I was either given my allowance or I lost my allowance. So if I was supposed to get $5 for cleaning the bathroom and I did a half-ass job, maybe I got $4.25, maybe I got $3. But I knew if I wanted that full $5, I had to show up for myself. And they set the level of excellence. This is how you replicate yourself and your children. This is how you transfer your God knowing to your children. You don't move in excellence and look at your kids and be like, yeah, y'all little mediocre muff. Because no, you're creating that mediocrity. You know, I got up today and I was like, why are you guys still in your pajamas? Michael got up, Caden did take his shower last night. But he left all his clothes on the floor. So the money he could have earned, because we have a monetary system, is monopoly money. And so much monopoly money can buy things. And I buy a bunch of stuff from the dollar store. They could earn going to the park. They could earn hanging out with their friends. They could earn going to the movies. They could earn all these different things. But to start it off, so they had something physical in their hands to get excited about. I bought some stuff from the dollar store, and I was like, okay, $20 for this, $50 for this, $12 for this. You could buy some body wash for $7, all these different things. But they have to show up fully for themselves. And in showing up fully for themselves, transferring that knowledge to them for their level of excellence, even when I'm not there, they're still moving in their God energy. You have to understand God energy isn't just, and the Lord said. No, God energy is moving in your highest possible capabilities, showing up for yourself, moving in divinity, coming before yourself into your highest potential. That is moving in your God energy. So I'm teaching my children how to, even after I'm gone, like Moses said, I've seen how y'all move. Even after I'm gone, I know as soon as I leave, y'all gonna act up. Because y'all acting up while I'm here. So when you're raising your children, you have to know you are transferring everything, the heart of it, the knowing, the feeling. You're transferring all of that and you're replicating yourself. But if you ain't got it, Mike, Caden, are you opening that side gate? Okay, leave it alone. The Song of Moses. And Moses recited the words of this song from beginning to end in the hearing of the whole assembly of Israel. Chapter 32. Listen, you heavens, I will speak. Hear, you earth, the words of my mouth. Let my teachings fall like rain and my words descend like dew, like showers on new grass, like abundant rain on tender plants. I will proclaim the name of the Lord. Oh, praise the greatness of our God. He is the rock. His works are perfect, and all his ways are just. A faithful God who does no wrong, among upright and just as he. They are corrupt and not his children. So to their shame they are warped, and crooked generation. Is this the way you repay the Lord, you foolish and unwise people? Is he not your father, your creator, who made you and formed you? That line right there just reinforces that we are God. Is he not your father, your creator, who made you and formed you? Do you think God did all of those things but didn't impart themselves in us? So not only are we serving God, but when we come before each other, we are serving God. So if we are not bringing our best here, or if we're only bringing our best here, but we're not bringing our best here, then we are not bringing our best, period. God is not pleased with this, no matter what it looks like, no matter how much money you have, no matter how whatever. Full abundance of blessing is because you are in God energy in all you do. Remember the days of old, consider the generations lost long past. Ask your father and he will tell you, your elders and they will explain to you. When the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he divided all mankind, he set up boundaries for the people according to the numbers of their sons of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob his allotted inheritance. In a desert land he found him, in a barren and hollowing waste. He shielded him and cared for him. He guarded him as the apple of his eye. Like an eagle that stirs up into nests and hovers over its young, that spreads its wings to catch them and carries them aloft. The Lord alone led him. No foreign god was with him. He made him ride on the heights of the land and fed him with the fruit of the fields. The Lord alone led him. No foreign god was with him. How I receive that is your intuition. You can either align with your flesh, your spirit, your current incarnation, or you can align with your soul, your intuition, your divinity, your God consciousness. And you can choose to be led by flesh, or you can choose to be led by your soul, your spirit self. I say spirit twice, but you know what I mean. Your non-tangible being. Whichever you choose, at any moment you are choosing to be led by false idols, the flesh, or you choosing to move within your God divinity, and you're moving in accordance in what's pleasing to God. That's how I read that. He made him ride on the heights of the land and feed him with the fruit of the fields. He nourished him with honey in the rock and with oil from the flint crag. Just go away. Flinty crag with cured and milk, with curds and milk from herd and flock, and with flattened lambs and goats, with choice rams of Bashan and the finest kernels of wheat. You drank the foaming blood of the grape. Jeshurun grew fat and kicked, filled with food. They became heavy and sleek. They abandoned the God who made them and rejected the rock that their savior. Y'all just gotta be very cognizant, and this is speaking to me. This whole Deuteronomy has been speaking to me. When you are blessed, that which you've been praying for, you will receive it. But when you receive it, don't switch up. God is warning you, don't switch up. Because just as easy as I gave it to you, I can take it away. And you have to understand, when God takes it away, it may not look like you go back to where you came from. All of a sudden, I'm back, where I'm at. No, when God takes it away, God can take it away in so many different ways. We just think it's, it's the money. It's all because we worship money. That's the first part. But understand, you can have all of the riches in the world and still be miserable. So don't forget, never forget. They made him jealous with their foreign gods and angered him with their detestable idols. You have to understand that the gods and idols are not literal gods and idols in 2024. To me, what I'm receiving is that which the world presents. Once the world is so open up to you that there's no limitations before you and you can experience whatever you want, how far will you go into your pleasures? Because your pleasures are all distraction from your divinity. You can dabble in a pleasure, but when it becomes of you, and it becomes pervasive, and it becomes an addiction, and it becomes all these things that take over your life besides God, we be so deep in our God energy when we trying to get it, but once we got it, we abandon. And God is warning us of that. They sacrifice to God. They sacrifice to false gods which are not God. Gods they have not known, gods that recently appear. Gods they have not known, gods that recently appear. So you have to understand that where God is taking you, new temptations are going to present themselves. Where God is taking me is a world that I've never existed in. The world that I live in today isn't the world that I grew up in. I had to learn how to navigate it. And we have to learn if this is enough that we're willing to settle for. Is the life that you have been presented and the life that you created, is it what you're willing to settle for in this lifetime? If you choose to settle and you stop seeking that which is the yearning and burning inside of your heart, and you're knowing that you came here for more, but you settle because you're comfortable, you have accepted slavery. You have accepted to be in bondage, which where you are, because you know within your heart there's more out there, but you're like, this is good enough. And God is warning you. Those are the gods that are now presenting themselves. These are the recently appeared gods. The new lifestyle that you have pulled yourself into, and that which you now get comfortable, that learning, that yearning, like, God, whatever you need me to do, you're doing that work. And then after you do the work, are you going to settle for the God that recently appeared? Are you going to keep grinding and getting it in and getting that which you deserve in this lifetime? That is your choice, and God is warning you against that. It's letting you know things are going to come into your pathway. It's not any type of pathway that you choose as far as how you seek God. It is anything that you choose that distracts you from God. You deserted the rock, your father who fathered you. You forgot the God who gave you birth. The Lord saw this and rejected them because he was angered by his sons and daughters. I will hide my face from them, he said, and see what their end will be, for they are a perverse generation, children who are unfaithful. They made me jealous by what is no God, and angered me with their worthless idols. I will make them envious by those who are not a people. I will make them angry by a nation that has no understanding. For a fire will be kindled by my wrath, one that burns down the realm of the dead below. It will devour the earth in its harvest and set afire the foundations of the mountains. I will heap calamities on them and spin my arrows against them. I will spend wasting famine against them. I will send wasting famine against them, consuming pestilence and deadly plagues. All that says to me is, like, once God has blessed you, this dog is eating the tree. His gums, he's teething. but he has chosen the tree as his methodology to ease his stuff. Anyway, once God has once God has blessed you and you have started worshiping those blessings, God's gonna, just like God got your attention at this level, God's gonna get your attention at the next level. God's never gonna stop getting your attention, especially if you're a chosen one. You can't afford to get off path. So every time you get off path, God's gonna start shaking it up. Gonna be some furniture moving. I will send against them the fangs of the wild beasts, the venom of vipers, and the glide of the dust. In the street of the sword will make them childless. In their homes terrors will reign. The young men and young women will perish, the infants and those with gray hair. I said I would scatter them and erase their name from the human memory. But I dreaded the taunt of the enemy, lest the adversary misunderstand and say, our hand has triumphed. The Lord has not done all this. There are nations without sense. There is no discernment in them. If only there is no discernment in them. Make sure that you are developing your discernment. Your spirit of discernment is imperative in order for your relationship with God to flourish. If you don't know how to feel spirit, how to listen to intuition, you're disconnected from God, because that is how God communicates. Even when your children, even when your spouse, even when your friends, even when a stranger, anyone comes up to you and says and delivers you a message, and you're like, dang, how did you know? They don't know. They probably don't even know what they're saying. They're delivering a message, but if you don't even have a spirit of discernment, you miss it. Just sit down and do whatever you're planning to do. He ain't worried about you in real life. How can one man chase 1,000 or two put 10,000 to fight? Unless their rock has sold them, unless the Lord has given them up. For their rock is not like our rock, as even our enemies concede. Their vine comes from the vine of Sodom, and from the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are filled with poison, and their clusters with bitterness. Their wine is the venom of serpents, the deadly poison of cobras. So whatever it is that you are believing God for, it's yours. It's yours. It's yours. God's word does not return void.
No.
Leave alfalfa alone.
He was just eating grass.
He eats grass because that's something they do. He's fine. He doesn't want to eat a lot of it, but sometimes they do it because their tummy hurts. But he's all right. But just know, especially if you know that you're called in this lifetime, this is what's just resonating with me in this moment. Whatever it is that you're called to do in this lifetime, and we all have a calling, no one is here just to be here. If you're here just to be here, what the hell are you doing? Why are you still here? You got to have some sort of purpose. You're just existing and you're okay with that? If you're okay with just existing, that in essence is a false idol. Because the spoils and the comforts that you have surrounded yourself with in this lifetime is enough for you to become complacent. And that is displeasing to God. And that's why your life is constantly being shaken up, and you can't find that peace. I believe that there is peace in this lifetime. I believe that there is happiness in this lifetime. I believe in everything that is for you for you to enjoy. The land flowing with milk and honey. But you got to get right. And you can't get complacent. Because every step of progression you make, there's temptations to take you off of your square. And you have to resist it, and you have to stay focused. The Lord will vindicate. I don't know where the C came from. The Lord will vindicate his people and relent concerning his servants When he sees their strength is gone and no one is left slave or free, he will say, now where are their gods, the rock they took refuge in? The God who ate the fat of their sacrifices and drank the wine of their drink offerings. Let them raise up to help you. Let them give you shelter. So that God just let you know, I will abandon you. You abandoned me first. You don't get to create this life of false idols, trumped up worldly BS, and then when all that fails, turn back to God and say, but you abandoned me. No, you abandoned me. You abandoned me. Love don't live here anymore. See, now that I myself am he, there is no God beside me. I put to death and bring to life. I have wandered and I will heal. I have wounded and I will heal. And no one can deliver out of my hand. I lift my hand to heavens and solemnly swear, as surely as I live forever, when I sharpen my flashing sword and my hands grasp it in judgment, I will take vengeance in my adversaries and repay them who hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, while my sword devours flesh, the blood of the slain and the captives, the heads of the enemy's leaders. Rejoice your nations with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants. He will take vengeance on his enemies and make an atonement for his land and people. Moses came with Joshua, son of Nun, and spoke all the words of this song in the hearing of the people. When Moses finished reciting all these words to all the Israels, he said to them, take to heart all the words I have solemnly declared to you this day, so that you may go. Command your children to obey carefully all the words of this law. They are not just idle words for you. They are your life. By them you will live long in the land you are crossing the Jordan to possess. Moses to die on Mount Nobi. On that same day the Lord told Moses, go up into the Abraham range to Mount Nobi in Moab, across from Jericho, and view Canaan, the land I am giving the Israelites as their own possession. There on the mountain that you have climbed you will die and be gathered to your people, just as your brother Aaron died on Mount Hor and was gathered to his people. This is because both of you broke faith with me in the presence of the Israelites at the waters of Meribah Kadesh, in the desert of Zin, and because you did not uphold my holiness among the Israelites. Therefore, you will see the land only from a distance. You will not enter the land I am giving to the people of Israel. All right, tomorrow we'll read. Not tomorrow, I work tomorrow. I don't know what my schedule looks like. Right now I'm available Monday, but I don't know. Moses blesses the tribe. What Spirit told me, and we'll end it like this. What Spirit told me was this. God has promised you something in this lifetime. God has promised something to your ancestors. Understand that which you feel that is on your heart, your ancestors played a role in that. Your parents had to move the way they moved. Their parents had to move the way they moved. Everybody had to move in order for you to be where you're at. But if those people have not entered into the land flowing with milk and honey, it is because they did not move the way that they were supposed to move so that they can experience the richness and fullness of the land that's flowing with milk and honey. But it is still promised to you. And what I just received is we cannot be so selfish that just because we ourselves, our physical being, may or may not experience the wealth and abundance in this lifetime, for some reason, that doesn't mean don't do the work. Now that's the theory. The practical application. What that's saying to me is the work that I am doing. There has been a time where I thought, I was just like, you know how there's people like Nipsey Hussle. I'm not saying Nipsey was doing the Lord's work, but this is a physical manifestation that we can attach to. Nipsey Hussle.
Stop.
Alfalfa, leave him alone. Nipsey Hussle did not get worldwide recognition until he passed away. Nipsey Hussle's messages did not reach the masses like he knew in his heart his message was going to reach. Stop! Both of y'all just leave each other alone. Alfalfa, stop that barking. You're being disruptive. Nipsey Hussle knew in his heart that he came to this earth to do something, right? And Nipsey did some things. Nipsey was, I knew Nipsey as Lauren London's fiance, boyfriend, husband, I don't know. That's how I knew Nipsey. I didn't know Nipsey's music. So Nipsey knew he was... Alfie, cut it out! Come here, Alfie. Alfalfa, here. Lay down. Lay down. No, lay down. Lay. Good dog. Nipsey knew that he came here for something amazing. Unfortunately, Nipsey died before that amazing happened. I know that I came to this earth to do something amazing, and it has crossed my mind. I was like, man, what if I die and that's what causes all my shit to go viral? Oh, did you know this chick was out here spitting this fire? And man, and it's my death that makes my content go crazy. It's my death that brings this message to the masses. Just because that could be, Spirit is saying keep building. Spirit is saying keep showing up. Spirit is saying no matter who gets the benefit from your labor, keep laboring. We can't be so selfish that we will deny our worldly impact because we may or may not get to experience it. So keep showing up no matter what that looks like. Somebody said, how can you sit on live and ain't nobody in the audience? I've been doing it for over a year. And I asked God, I was like, God, why am I still doing this? And it says, because God said, keep showing up. I repost all of my lives on YouTube, Lonnie Appleton Live, LONEEAPPLETON, Lonnie Appleton Live on YouTube. All lives go over there. I go live often with my family so that you're able to see my family function. All this theory that I'm spitting, you actually get to see it in practical application. I repost all videos, whether they make it here or not, because I can only post so much on TikTok. 3 to 4 videos is already posting too much, but after that, it all goes over to YouTube as the apple turns. So if you're following here as the apple turns, make sure you're following YouTube as the apple turns to get the fullness and the richness of all the content. My content isn't here for you to only be entertained. My content is here for you to study, to evolve and grow and learn. I am a teacher. I am a guide. I am a motherless to the motherless. I pick up where your mother left off. If there's a deficit, you'll hear it within my video and you're like, oh, and now you pick it up and you just healed yourself. So that's what this content is about. I'm Lonnie Appleton. I'm a healthy family advocate. I advocate for the healthy restoration of our family and our community, our society, and our world. We have to do the work on ourselves first. We as a people must be restored to our greatness, and that is the work that we're doing here. If you're not following, make sure you follow and you get to know us on all social media platforms. You can support the community by donating to the Cash App, Lonnie Appleton, LONEEAPPLETON. You can also support the community by shopping our merch. My merch is available at LonnieLifestyle.com. Oh, you don't like me messing with your tail? LonnieLifestyle.com. You can pick up my books. I'm a 2-time published author. You can pick up my books at LonnieLifestyle.com. You can also book my coaching services, my mentor services, and my energy work if that's something you're interested in. I will be back Monday unless the Lord says different. Otherwise, I go live Monday through Saturday, 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It is presently 1:18. I'm usually late. I started at 12:18 today, so I'm ending at 1:18 today. But you can always catch me. Look for my little dingy on or in the 12 o'clock hour. If you happen to be on TikTok, and hop into Bible study. If you miss it again, I repost on Lonnie Appleton Live on YouTube. I thank you guys for reading with us. Tomorrow or our next reading, we're going to finish Deuteronomy. And what's the book after Deuteronomy? Joshua. Oh, because Joshua took over where Moses. How come Deuteronomy ain't called Moses? Numbers called Moses. Leviticus called Moses. Definitely Exodus could have been called Moses because that was all Moses. Moses and Aaron, but still. Joshua get a whole book, but Moses just get in the book. That's all right. He ain't got to have the book named after him. He did the work and we still know his name. We still know Moses. So anyway, we'll finish Deuteronomy and go into Joshua the next time we read. You guys have a blessed day.